I'm joined now by Congressman Krishnamoorthi, Democrat from Illinois. And Congressman, how do you think the House should be approaching these priorities right now? Kind of what's the first step you need to be taking to check all of these boxes as you hope you'll be able to do?
Well, I think Speaker Pelosi does a masterful job of balancing all of these competing priorities. Obviously, we absolutely have to raise our debt ceiling. We cannot possibly put the full faith and credit of the United States ever at risk. Secondly, we're going to have a spending package in time for the September 30th end of year. And then we're going to have to pass infrastructure and get on with it with the reconciliation process. It's a lot to juggle, but we've done it before, and we're going to have to do it again here.
Do you think there's any possibility that the reconciliation package is done and ready before that deadline to vote on the infrastructure bill a week from today?
It's a little challenging. I think that there's a lot of work that has to be
understatement.
There's a lot of work that has to be done. Obviously, the Senate needs to write its own provisions. We need to pass our version, and then the two sides have to come together and hash out any disagreements. But I am confident that it's going to be done in short order. And failure is not an option. We must do this reconciliation package.
Talk to me about the infrastructure package. Obviously, the vote is supposed to happen by next Monday. If the Speaker does indeed put a vote on that infrastructure bill on the floor next Monday before reconciliation is done, will you vote for it?
I would vote for it. I think that a lot of my colleagues are going to vote for it. I think that at the end of the day, this particular piece of legislation is too important not to vote on, especially given the tremendous progress that we're making on the reconciliation bill. I think that we have to put a little bit of faith in the process and in each other. I am seeing a lot of progress being made, and I'm confident that it's going to be done in short order, just as the infrastructure package is going to pass as well.
You talk about, putting a little bit of trust in each other. To me, that seems to be what so much of this comes down to. A lot of Democrats from different wings of the party who don't entirely trust their colleagues, that everybody is rowing in the same direction. Can you take me inside the conversation within the caucus about things like, the red lines that progressives are drawing on the infrastructure bill or that moderates are drawing on the reconciliation bill? What are those discussions like when it's just you guys and not the cameras?
Well, it reminds me of an Indian wedding. There's a lot of posturing, there's a lot of animated discussion, but at the end of the day, everyone comes together and we have dessert when the bride and groom get married. I think in this particular instance, honestly, the only people who would be cheering for progressives and others in this party, in our caucus, not getting along is the Chinese Communist Party, because they don't want to see us get this infrastructure bill passed, and Donald Trump, who wants to see it all come down, regardless of whether it's good for the country or not. And we can't allow those forces to prevail. And that's why I think we are going to get something done. We're going to do it in a fine manner, and the American people are going to be proud.
Do you think you'll get Republican votes for the infrastructure bill? They got 19 in the Senate, but obviously the former president's hold on House Republicans is much stronger than it is on Senate Republicans. What's your sense of the level of Republican support that measure might get?
I don't know, Garrett. I think that at this point the ghost of Trump lives on, and basically my colleagues on the other side have to decide, are they going to please Trump or are they going to please their constituents? I hope they choose the latter, because I got to tell you, Republicans and Democrats are demanding many of the components of not only the infrastructure package but also the reconciliation bill. I was just with some people about an hour ago who are telling me how many folks across the board really do benefit from that child tax credit, which is being direct deposited into their accounts, and it cuts across party lines. And so let's do the right thing. Let's get this done, regardless of what our colleagues on the other side do.
How would you rate the way that your party is selling this reconciliation bill? I feel like we talked about it, and some media criticism is certainly fair here if you want to go that road. It's been talked about so much in terms of its price tag, but I think it's been very hard for Americans to look at individual provisions and how they might affect them. Do you worry that even if you do get that passed, Democrats aren't going to get much credit for it because they don't really understand yet what's in it?
Well, that's our challenge, Garrett. We have to execute the provisions of that reconciliation package properly. We have to make sure that universal pre-K is available to folks, that 2 years of community college after high school are available to folks, and that the child tax credit as well as child care tax credits are available. So that's up to us in terms of an implementation standpoint. And then we have to communicate about what this is doing and what a difference it's making in the lives of so many people. And I'm very hopeful we can do that, but obviously we have to take a couple steps before that, and that is passing the bill and then implementing it properly.
Congressman, only about 30 seconds left. There's been some reporting by Axios that Joe Manchin wants to kick this bill into 2022. Can it pass if that happens? Quickly, if you don't mind.
No, I think it has to be done now. I mean, I'll just give you one example. I'm trying to get a global vaccination element of that bill called NOVID. It's a play on words, no more COVID, which helps us to spearhead a vaccination program for 60% of the world's 92 poorest countries. We can't put that off to next year. We have to end this pandemic right now. And so that's why we have to get a lot of these elements done ASAP.
All right, Congressman Krishnamoorthi, thank you.